Welcome to the Kayla Lee Show. We're about to leave behind those old school beliefs and those low vibe limitations that lead you to exhaustion and to burnout as you grow your business. Together, we will explore how you can 2x your revenue in the next 90 days, how you can reclaim back 10 plus hours of your week, how you can rapidly create a multi-6-figure business or a 7-figure business in less than 12 months. Oh my goodness, I have quite the superstar on with me today, the beautiful Indy from Studio 85. We have been wanting to get together and create a podcast for probably a year.
Since before the podcast launched.
For the podcast launch back in May. And now she's finally here. She has graced me with her presence. I'm so excited for you to be on the show, beautiful, because I know that you are equally as passionate about creating a luxury client experience and to have more clients book your services ASAP as I am. So I am so fucking excited to have you here. Guys, FYI, at the time of recording, we have just met in real life.
It was so good.
There were tears. There were multiple tears on my behalf. I think I ugly cried on stage at the Collective Voice. That's all fine. But I'm so excited that you're here, beautiful. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was like quite last minute, but I don't know. After we met, I was like, this just has to happen. Even more so.
We're here. It's happening in real life. And this has been 12 months in the making. Indy was one of my private clients when we first started working together, like 12 months ago?
I signed up in September 2020.
Oh, so it's like 14 months ago, but we first met in a mastermind together. So it's been like near on 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Coming up to 2 years. That's crazy.
I love that. I can't believe that. And now here we are. We are both equally passionate about creating luxury client experiences in the bridal hair and makeup industry to elevate and raise the bar of the entire industry. And India's got something epic, actually fucking extraordinary that she is working on. And I'm so excited for you to come on here and share your love. Now, did you want to share with me? Before we even go into that, let's talk about like your experience within Studio 85. Do you want to share?
It has been a journey. It has been a roller coaster. If anyone's into human design, I'm a Manny Gen, and so lots goes on. Kayla's also one, by the way. So,
well, you need that.
Yeah. So I came from a corporate background. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left school. I thought I would be a music teacher because I'm very musical, but I don't do kids. So I was
little part.
It's just a little bit of a problem. Not the kids are a problem, but I was just like, I just don't think that I can do this. So I went into a corporate world, ended up in a corporate marketing team supporting the head of the team there. And then I was like, what was it about music? I was like, I'm creative. I need to do something creative. So when I started makeup, I didn't even like makeup. I didn't wear it. I didn't know anything about it. It was not the typical, most people, I think it's the same with hairstylists as well. They were like, oh, I grew up playing with my mum's makeup or doing my mum's hair. And I always knew. And it was like, I literally just went for it and thought, I hope that I like this because I don't know.
And like quite a repetitive nature, a little bit of impulsivity.
I told you I was impulsive. This is what I mean. And I'm not someone who does things half-heartedly either. So of course I paid for the most expensive makeup course to study with the best person in New South Wales.
It was Melissa, wasn't it? Melissa
Sassine.
Yeah.
And that seems to also be a theme. That's why I went with you as my coach, because I'm like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go with the best.
Yes. I love that. But that's an example of you like leaning fully in, right? That's like there's no, yes, it can be seen as impulsive, but also it's like there's a feeling that you have inside of you when you're lit up by your decision and you know that there's something on the other side. So I love that about you because it's like instead of allowing that fear and doubt to hold you back, very much like with what you're about to launch, It's that feeling that you have inside. And when you think about your journey from when you first went into working with Melissa Sassine and then working with me, and then now what you're creating, you're following that golden thread of like what lights you up. So
That's the thing. Yeah. It's fueled by passion.
yeah.
And like, it's that feeling inside, as you like to call it, a full body fuck yes. And that's exactly what it is. So I went into that. Thankfully, I enjoyed doing makeup. That was actually a really lucky thing. But I think like most of us, when we get into business, even though I did have a corporate background, you have no idea what it's like and it takes to run a business. And it is so much work and so overwhelming. And most creatives hate that. And as I went through the journey, I was like, I love business. I love business way more than doing makeup. So I changed. My original business was started as Vitality Makeup. That lasted 2 weeks. Then I was Indiana Night Makeup, which lasted a year. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to be a personal brand, because I knew I wanted what I was doing to be bigger than just me. So I changed to Studio 85. And then, yeah, I've been specializing. When I started working with you a year ago, I transformed from just your average makeup artist to
Job makeup service
to this incredible luxury, it's just the most amazing experience. And I know that is top of the market to what I provide to my brides. And I've been so busy. I mean, from when I met you, I think I was doing like consistent 4K months. And then I had like a 4K week.
Yes, I remember that was.
Do you remember? I was like crying on a voice message.
Still think I was like, remember when we were talking about 4K months? I was like, soon it will become a 4K week, and then it will become a 4K day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and then it happened.
And I was like, this is just, but that's what happens when you step outside the box. So that's what Studio 85 became, or is currently for a little while. And then it's going to change again.
And then it's consistently evolving. But that's business, isn't it, though? Like, I can't do stagnant, and also you being a manifesting generator can't do stagnant. And with me in my business, I've also been following that golden thread, like following what lights me up. And it's funny because like what's happening in 2024 is actually bringing me back around into like a full circle, which is surprising. Didn't anticipate that. But again, that's me just throwing the golden thread. So it's interesting because even when I got into business mentoring, it never happened that way. It was never my intention. It was actually educating hairstylists and makeup artists to be fucking exceptional at what they do, and then have that level of confidence with their hairstyling, and to simplify it, because let's be honest, hairdressers, and there's hairstyling, and then there's barbering, and they're all just such 3 very unique looks, like, and experiences and trainings, right? So for me, I was like, I want to empower women and men to like feel confident with their hairstyling, because it's not, we don't get taught that. So I was following that little golden thread, and then through there led into business, and then again leading back into hair. So it's like really interesting when you follow that thread. It's like that evolution. So I fucking love it. I love watching your journey. And also, you know how we like focus so much on the like finish line, and then we underestimate the like excitement and the joy that the journey actually brings. The journey gets to be actually more incredible than the actual finish line. But it's just,
I agree. You learn so much in the journey. And I think the journey changes the finish line, because what I've learned on this journey, I'm also in this similar situation. This whole 2024 thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this circle. And I'm coming back to that. I'm like, everything that I've done, it's like this makes sense. And this whole thing, just like, if you can see this from standing above, you're like, oh my goodness. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of look like this at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, you're like, what the fuck is she doing?
And like, whoever's up there is like, where's she off to? What's she going?
She's just following what lights her up. Like,
Like, but then they like together.
You're so right though, because what you're about to be doing and what you're about to be launching quite literally wouldn't exist or wouldn't be possible had you not learned and taken the path that you already have, and exceeded beyond just being a makeup service. And stepping into this luxury client experience with sales and people that actually choose your luxury experiences, and not being the brand that attracts price shoppers, being the brand that attracts incredible value shoppers with incredible brides who are actually desiring the experience that is more than just a service. So do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Well, so I, again, like, I knew I wanted to be different. I knew that I just didn't want to, not that there's anything wrong with people just providing a service by any means. Like some people love that, but I was like, I don't love this. Like I want to work with soul aligned clients and I want to work with people who truly value what I do. But how do I do that if I'm not providing a service that's truly valuable?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started working with, yeah, I'm out. See ya. So when I started working with you, I was so attracted to you because you were like this luxury, like, and I was like, that is what I want. And I had a lot of like money beliefs and stories that I was like, I'm a price shopper. So how do I become a luxury brand when I love a bargain? You know, like, how do I embody this person? Which is where you came in. And so
let's work on that.
yeah, let's fix that. I remember one of the first things you said was, you need to journal out some stuff.
You've got some issues.
We worked on
these
this
are red flags.
Yeah, you're like, oh gosh, who just signed up? You told this story, and I don't know if you still tell it, but it was life-changing for me. And it's about the nail salon.
Oh, yes.
Do you know that? So basically you told me like, you're probably going to word this way better than me. I'm going to butcher this, but do you want to tell your version?
Can you take over? So I shared inside my mastermind the difference between a walk-in nail studio and then a luxury nail beauty experience. So if you were to basically, there are two types of buyers in the world. There's the value shopper and the price shopper. And then you got to reflect on like, how is that business actually providing the service? They're both providing the same service. The client still walks into both the nail studio inside the walk-in like store inside of a shopping center and also a luxury day spa. They both receive the same experience. Let's just say they're receiving a manicure and a pedicure and it costs $150. I think I called it the $150 experience.
Yeah.
So you walked in and you're both receiving a manicure and a pedicure in both stores, except the experiences are vastly different. The nail store just provides super basic, like it provides a service. It is nothing else. Like it is just positioned as like I think I itemized it even down to the fact there was like nail trimming, there was nail filing, there was a cuticle like pushback, there was an oil, and then there was like the actual application of the gel, for example. And then we shared the messaging, the marketing messaging of the luxury day spa, and we spoke about all the experiences and the benefits of having that experience within the salon. Yes, you're going to get the service, that's a given, but there's actually so much more that the experience entails, and you're catering that marketing message directly towards your ideal client's desires, right? So it's like the way that you're positioning your brand and the way that you're positioning that service as a much more luxury experience, same price, completely attracting a different client. So that is the difference.
That was way better than what I would have said. So
you're like, didn't butcher that. Thank you. But that was a huge message because it was the difference between attracting the price shopper and the value shopper. And people were like, I want to raise the bar, I want to increase my prices, but they're not doing it in alignment with their actual brand message, their packaging, their services. They're like just increasing the prices and wondering why the conversions are dropping is because they're literally not conveying the value of their brand. So that was an incredible breakthrough.
Yes, that for me was like, oh my goodness. So the first step I did was write down everything that I provided currently, which most clients don't know, right? You just say, yes, I do your makeup, but you're like, what's involved in your makeup? You get customized lashes that are tailored to like all this stuff, right? Break it down. And then I started looking, well, what would a luxury, like a high-end client want? And it became not about me. What do I want to provide? It's like, what do they need? So there was like, before the wedding, they get within 24-hour responses, like response time, which is huge because brides are so stressed. They don't want to wait for replies. So you get that, you get a phone call, you get a Zoom call with me to have a chat before, because connection is so important, because I'm in your face for 6 to 8 hours. Like, you want to like me. If you don't, I'm not the makeup artist for you. Do you know what I mean? And people forget that. Yeah.
I want an invite to your wedding, actually.
That's basically it. I'm like, we're besties now. So you want to make sure that you connect, because if you're somebody really upbeat and lively and you get somebody who's just so quiet and reserved, I'm like, they're going to throw the mood off. But how do you know that unless you have a Zoom call? So I offered that. They also get a little goodie bag, like when they sign with me, but, become a client of mine. they get sent out a skincare package so they can have like a luxury, like a bath with a face mask and all of these things before the wedding. On the day, they get a lengthened skincare routine with a gua sha massage, hand and arm massage, like little, all of these things. And I was like, that is luxury. And instead of just saying like luxury makeup artist or, because so many people throw the word luxury in their thing. And I look, when we started going through this, I was like, you're just using this word willy-nilly and you actually don't provide a luxury service.
You've just popped luxury in front of hair.
Because you want it to be luxury. But what is luxury?
But are you actually providing that service, that experience? I like to say experience because everything you've just explained is quite literally an experience. It's not, they're getting the result is the makeup, but the experience is the luxury. And how they feel as a client of yours. And I loved what you shared around like having that connection, because that helps with your sales and conversions as well, right? Like if you are building a brand where these beautiful brides are able to connect with you and they're able to get to know you more intimately, and you're taking those extra steps in your sales experience to actually build that connection, guess who they're going to book with? They're going to book with the person who understands them, who's meeting their needs, and who is understanding what their needs are, and they're able to convey that and express that they're able to like actually meet those needs as well in their service. But what I love most is the level of like connection that you're building even in the client experience, right? Because if we think about business, to rapidly grow your business, you want to increase the level of like exposure. So every single bride who is in your business has something incredible to say to you, and she's going to refer your business to 10 of her friends that are getting married in the next 5 years. That's 10 more people that would never have like come to your world unless they found you on social media. 10 more people. But if you're supporting like 100 brides each year and they're all telling 10 more people, that is so much more visibility than you would ever have imagined. And so you're then getting the opportunity to support their network as well. And they won't ever refer you unless you truly do create a luxury client experience. So that's what I love about everything you shared, because you really are not just taking the sale and then like it's they're another number. They're literally such a valued client within your business. And I love that.
Yeah. And I think even with the leads that come through, the people that even the people I don't convert, you inquire with me, you get put on my email, like I call it my bridal lounge. You'll see that across my pages. But basically they get 6 months worth of wedding tips. I'm not selling to them. I'm giving them every week, they get something to do with a wedding tip. So even if you're not a client of mine, you still get that support from me, because the core values of Studio 85 are sophistication, connection, and support. And whether you're a client or not, I want people to experience that like purely to help them initially. But also what you're saying is, even if they're not a client, they're still going to be like, wow, this is incredible. I didn't even pay this person and they're still giving me so much support. And whatever the reason that it might have been that they picked somebody else, they can still refer me on and be like, hey, I know this incredible person who genuinely like gives a fuck.
Absolutely. And that makes you stand out. You can swear on this podcast. Should have been called the Kayla fucking Lee show.
Yeah. Rebrand.
That's very brand appropriate.
Yeah.
Yes, we're luxury, but we also swear.
Yeah, that's fine.
I love that so much, because that is one of the core reasons. Like, obviously, it's a value of your brand, but it's also another way that you can stand out in social media. And the other thing is that when you are an event style, let's just say bridal, right? Let's just say bridal. If you're also offering other services outside of bridal, and they might not choose you for their wedding, but what's to stop them from coming back because you're consistently showing up and building that connection with them? Like, they might have chosen somebody else for a certain reason. Maybe their granny's fucking cousin, like niece, was getting married and she's got this like other like Sally down the road. There's always all those stories that you hear, right? Yeah. And it's actually not I think this is actually an incredible opportunity to talk about this. It's a bride choosing somebody else is not a reflection of you and your brand, and a reflection of you not being good enough, or a reflection of you being too expensive. It's absolutely fucking not. It's actually more the fact that she's either making space for your dream bride to come through, or Sally down the road has actually got her cousin that's got somebody else that's got somebody. Like there's always a fucking story that ripples out. But for me, I think that was one of my greatest challenges in my business when I first started, was that like if somebody chose somebody else, I used to go into scarcity and lack instantly and think and believe that I
What's wrong
wasn't
with
good enough.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a reflection of me not being worthy, or a reflection of me not being good enough, or a reflection of like, why did they choose somebody else? And I needed that validation from a bride to book for me to believe that I was good enough, until all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, shit,
I'm
I've
actually
got it all
really good at
wrong.
what I do. But that comes back to like this whole, like when I did that luxury, like I wrote out everything I provided, I was like, I am way too cheap
Yes.
and I am so worth this. And I know I provide the most fucking incredible experience. And I remember you and I were speaking about a price increase, and I said, by June, this is I think in January, I said by June I'm going to put my price up to 180. I think it was February I put my price up to like 420 for a bride. And do you remember I got like literally that week 4 brides booked like with the price increase, and I was like, what the
But
yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
energetics, right? Behind believing your value, seeing your value. And I think that is the most incredible exercise to ever go through. I've actually done this recently as well. And it's like is do it whenever you are second guessing what you're actually offering. I even did this for expansion, and I had to like really map out like everything that everybody was receiving. And I'm like, I need to increase the price. Like
You do that, and
ASAP.
then
But like,
that scarcity mindset disappears because you're like, do you know what? Like, if they're not booking me, it is not me, because they will never regret booking with me. I know that.
yes.
But they're making their own choices for their own personal reasons, and that's okay, because there are enough people in the world getting married. It's fine.
Absolutely. And on top of that, like when I mean, let's just actually dive into one of the most controversial topics that I love to talk about,
I love controversy.
the red flag bride. Is the red flag bride generally somebody who's like, I see your worth and I love a luxury experience? Or is she the one who's window shopping and has window shopped the entire fucking universe looking for the cheapest deal and spent too long actually looking for the cheapest deal? Which one would you say is the red flag?
Do you want to know? I feel like you will relate to me on this one. That kind of bride, the price shopping bride, will give you so many more problems. The less they pay, the more problems they bring.
Absolutely. I'm like, the best thing I ever did was to completely prepare, like exceed the market for what I am charging my services at, because it brought in women who were like, they're just so much more of a sweeter soul. Like
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
not nitpicking all the little like inclusions. They're not sitting there questioning and you know what? Actually, every time we have a bride who is like, this doesn't work, or if there's ever a bride that's like, well, I need my trial done on this date, I can absolutely guarantee it doesn't happen very often now, but it used to happen when we used to attract more of those price shopping brides. Now we attract the most sweetest souls. And I'm like, is it an energetics thing or a pricing strategy thing? Because
Or a bit of both.
literally, bit of both. Brand positioning. Like, I think it's also when you start to see your worth and the service that you're offering and the value of your experience that you offer your clients, that is truly when you start to see your value. And then the universe delivers more clients who see your value too, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you experienced when you did increase your prices like that. Boom.
Went for it. Again, impulsive.
like that. But
There's a consistent theme here.
I'm seeing some like some standard trauma
Am
responses.
I the problem?
You're like, life feels boring. Let's just double our pricing.
I'm not moving forward. I'm going backwards.
Yeah, if I'm stagnant, this is it. This is all over. Let's just quit everything. I love that. But that's exactly what you shared. Like the energy that you had behind that pricing increase as you were doing that, breaking down all the value that you were offering your brides and your services, you started to get behind the value of your services, which meant that you energetically seen the value of your services. So if a bride then responded to you and was like, oh, you're out of budget, it wouldn't have been a reflection of you thinking I'm not good enough or that she's going to go somewhere else and I need to reduce my prices. It was a reflection of her just being out of budget.
Yeah, that's literally all it is.
All it was. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to overcomplicate this. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in business is when you're a sole trader, you are your business, right? But you need to actually not, personal me is not business me. And that was something that was really hard because anything that happened in my business, I was like, oh my goodness, it's a me thing. And I was like, detach yourself. Stop it. get away from it.
But you need to, because it's really hard to not bring your own insecurities into your business when when it's all intertwined and like fucking a shit show. Like, and
Yeah.
I get it, because I still have to catch myself from doing it
Mhm.
even now. And it's something that comes up for me a lot, is like that element of, even if there's somebody who wants to join expansion and then they're like, pull out, I have to remind myself that there are two people in this conversation. There's me and there's her. And I can't control her, and I can't control when she's ready, and I can't control when
Yeah.
she's leaning in. I can't control that. But what I can control is how I deliver and what I help her to achieve. But it's so hard for me because I get so connected and I get so entwined, which also is the reason that makes me a fucking incredible mentor, is
Yeah.
because I am so invested. But it's
Also the
so
reason
hard.
people will travel 5 hours to come and meet you, because you're fucking incredible.
Also the reason why I break down and ugly cry on stage, because my heart's so sad.
But it's true. When you're an emotional
going on.
person, it's hard to not get
Mm.
like feel everything that happens in your business.
Yeah, it's really hard to disconnect, like to detach, like
Mm.
detach from that.
Absolutely.
But I agree. I think it's more having the understanding of, is this like, this isn't a reflection of me or who I am or what services I offer. It's actually a reflection of the other person that's in this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And stop like, because I always go into like, what can I do? What can I do? How can I make it better? That's like my natural reaction, is to like jump in and be like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And it's taken me a long time to actually realize it's two
It's
people.
well, actually, something Geraldo, my husband, as you know, but for anyone who doesn't know, my husband,
The one with breakfast when we're on calls. No.
he pops in with my brekkie in the mornings on our Zoom calls. He taught me this. This is about a relationship, but it works in any relationship. He said, your 100% is still only 50%. And I love that.
I love that, because that
Mm.
is quite literally exactly what we were just talking
Yes.
about. It's like,
Yeah,
and then I take the blame for the other person's lack of 50%.
exactly. But I'm like, you can't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And so that's in every relationship. And I mean, let's be honest, a relationship with a client is a relationship. If they're a
Absolutely.
client of yours, it's still a relationship. And if they're in the sales experience with you, it is still a relationship. If they're on Instagram, you are fucking building relationships. So it's
Yeah,
like, you're reaching out to them, you're having a conversation. If they're not going to come back, not your responsibility, not you to take the
exactly.
blame. You've attended that, like you've lent in 50%. I love
Yeah.
that so much. That's Geraldo dropping the truth bombs and Mark drops.
He should, yeah. He's
Got a
he's on
cameo on the
the journey.
podcast, Geraldo. I love that. Now, did you want to share? I am so excited for you to share more about what you have been working on, because everything that we've already spoken about right now, about that luxury client experience, creating a service that is more than just hair, just makeup, just application of like makeup,
Mhm.
just creation of hair. I know from many conversations that we've had, also because I've been in business for 10 years and I know the industry. And I was very much the creative that just started her business because I didn't want to work under anybody. And I started my business because I fucking love creating hair. And I started my business because I don't like taking direction from other people. And I started my business for all these other reasons. But I did not start it because I fucking love business.
Yeah.
However, obviously now I love business because I was following that thread.
Mhm.
But like so many women, especially everybody who is at the collective voice that has also shared this, we did not get into business because we love the admin or the business side of things. And so I would love to hear about what you've been working on, because this is going to solve everything.
I know in my core this is going to redefine the industry, and I am so excited about it. And okay, so again, sorry, I just needed that. We both have very similar, like on a podcast you cannot see this, but we're both sort of like wiggling around. Like
We're like actually fully dancing. I've got this to record right here, so we're good. There is actual video footage.
there's evidence of what's happening right
Us doing a wiggle dance together.
just comes out, the energy. But so when I was working with you, you could see in some points you had to rein me back in, that you were like, whoa, what do you like? You were fully supportive of me going out in multiple different directions, but at some point you were like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And it all came down to the core feeling that I wanted to do a business thing rather than a makeup thing.
Mhm.
And I thought that was mentoring. So I dabbled in mentoring and I was like, this is not for me. Like, not like there's people like you who fucking are lit up by mentoring. And I was like, it's not me. I can't provide that energy because I don't feel it like you do. And I was trying to force it. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep going along and trying to figure this out. And then this wedding season smashed me so hard. I felt like I was drowning, but that's fine. But something that kept happening and coming up throughout this season was season's only just begun, by the way. But
You're like, we've still got months.
we've still got so many months, but that's fine.
She's just having a mental breakdown now, guys. It's fine. Don't
I
worry.
am, hence why I'm sitting here like
still go on.
I'm in Perth right now in a bikini on this podcast because I'm like, fuck this. Anyway, something that kept coming up for me was a lot of the hairstylists I was working with, or I was speaking to a lot of other makeup artists that I've connected with. And on their side, they're like, I'm just drowning in admin and I can't keep up with it. And like, oh, I just need to focus. It's just not me. And then I would speak to brides and they would be like, I'm so frustrated waiting for replies for people. There's no communication. And they kept giving me the compliments of like, it's so easy to work with you because you are so efficient with your admin. And that is because I spent a year building it, working on the systems, making mistakes, making more mistakes, redoing it. It's been a journey. Like, it's not something that came easily to me, but the hairstylists I would work with or the other makeup artists I talk with, they're like, you're so good at it. It comes so easy to you. And I'm like, oh, you should have seen the mental breakdowns in the bedroom, but that's so fine.
You're like, let's not talk about those.
That's fine. And so this just kept coming up for me. And I was like, how can I fix this problem? Because I don't know. I love fixing problems. And I was saying to Geraldo one time, I was like, the thing is, I found when I was mentoring clients, I'm like, a lot of the clients, and this is potentially because I was attracting different clients than you do potentially, but I was like, they're time poor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the time to learn. Nor do they, like, a lot of them don't want to learn another system.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what if I just do it for them? And Geraldo was like, why don't you? And I was like, oh my goodness, I can work from my house, which I love. I love sitting in my office, locking myself away in there and just like fiddling around on my computer. I can bring
You're like, one more proposal done. Love that for you.
And I know I'm fast at it and I'm good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the full circle came back, because I was like, I was an executive assistant for a high level like marketing team. And I was like, the organizational part of me is like coming back around full circle. But I was like, what if I can take that stress away from these creatives who are just, they love being creative? Give me the admin, because I know this sounds boring, but I fucking love admin.
No, but I know, like, just to circle back to what you were saying around like the clients with mentoring, even some women who have like, wanted to join expansion, or they want to get their, and I say this with so much love, but growing a business is fucking hard work. And if you want to take it to the next level, it does require you to step up and do the work. And so it's really interesting that you said that, because not everybody does, like there are women who are really happy with where their business is at, and they don't necessarily want to actually grow any further. They don't want to build a team. They don't want to like launch into education, and they just actually need somebody to come in and help them with the everyday running of their business, but they don't know where to find that person. And so
Exactly.
I love that you are creating this solution, because it's a very real problem in the creative industry, because like we shared before, creatives get into business because they love being creative, and more than likely, very much like you and I, don't want to be told what to do and what hours that they have to work and everything like that. They actually like to have that freedom, and everybody gets into the business industry because they want that freedom, but they don't have the freedom because they're fucking slugging it out behind the
They're a slave to their admin,
working on their admin. And how many times, this is one of my biggest pet hates in the industry, how many times do you fucking see that many people in our industry posting onto Instagram stories saying, I'm so sorry, there's so much going on, I will get back to all of the emails tomorrow, or I'll get back to you next week. And I'm like, this is a fucking problem. And
oh my gosh, I see this all the time, again, with love.
I'm like, this is not communication.
No. And like, I see people, you might, the stories like, hey, jumping on emails now. I'm like, what do you mean jumping on emails? Like, it should be a thing that you just, like, clients get to you. It's your everyday routine. What do you mean you getting on emails? I don't get it. But like, at the same time, I get it.
I get it. But it also doesn't have to be that way.
It also shouldn't be how you run a business.
No. And also, if we just reflect on like the women who are running their business like that, and I get it because it was also me. This is why I created everything that I do in expansion, is because I was at that same point where I was missing out on bookings and inquiries, because by the time I got back to clients, which would be 4 weeks later, I had lost the inquiry. Because of course,
Absolutely.
why would a bride wait 4 weeks for you to get back to them? Like, it's
And you know what? Like
time responding, and they're not even fucking there. Like, they're already
exactly. And imagine how they're going. Like, so Geraldo, again, little cameo Geraldo, he's my sales manager, and when he calls my client, he's very direct to say the least, but he says it with love. And when he's on a phone with my clients, when he calls them, he basically, he's like, what is it that's going to make, like, if we could give you everything that you need right now, what is it that's going to like be your deciding factor? Like, what's the wait? And they say, oh, I'm just waiting to get more quotes back. And he's like, how long have you been waiting?
Interesting.
Oh, a week or two. And he's like, okay, I just want to highlight that.
Yeah.
Is that not a problem for you? How long did it take for you to hear from us? Less than 24 hours, right? You're not a client of these people, and they're still taking that amount of time. Imagine how hard it's going to be when you need to schedule your trial, when you need to do all these other things, when you need the details sorted and you're waiting weeks for replies.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And that is it's a problem. And I thought that, why can I not bring, like, again, I worked so fucking hard when I was in expansion. I was working like 10-hour days. I was building Dubsado. I was using all these systems. I was building an email system, like everything that I have put together. And I'm literally giving that to people, and you don't have to learn and do that work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think the other huge thing that you said there, like, I think this is about the bigger picture of like raising the entire industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we don't even realize when we first start our business, we don't even realize what comes with having a business. And so getting back to emails in 4 weeks seems normal, or paying invoices in 4 weeks seems normal, or like
sending your bank details.
Oh my God.
Like
100 emails backwards and forth. No wonder you don't like emails. No wonder you don't like admin. It's because you've got the most painful experience set up in your business, and it's painful for you, and it's going to be painful for the client.
Yes.
Like, if you're hating that process, it's more than likely that your client is hating that process too.
Because the client, right, you're dealing with this one bride. Well, obviously you've got multiple brides, but that bride has 10 other vendors they're doing this with. Yeah, they don't want hard.
Like in expansion, how I would always talk about, like, think about what you would have wanted when you were a bride. Like, how would you want that experience to be like? And I say this with so much fucking love, but there are other industries like photography, videography, florists, planners, stylists that have better systems in place than hair and makeup artists. And I get it, because that was also me, and it was more than likely also you. It was everybody in our industry assumes that a Google Calendar or a system like Timely is enough for you to manage a bridal booking. But there's a very real reality that when you are managing brides for a whole year, you are spending so much more time managing that booking and managing that client experience than you ever would have in the salon. Because in the salon, you can make it so easy. They can go onto your online scheduler, they can book in for whatever service they need, and they can rebook their next fucking service. Like, that's how easy it gets to be. You do not have to manage it. But when you're managing a bride, you're managing every single fucking moment of their wedding planning journey for an entire year.
Yes.
The admin adds up. And so it's no surprise that when you're managing like 100 brides, it's so overwhelming and intense when you're managing every single email for every single question for every single bride that you have booked in for the next fucking 2 years. And so I love everything that you're creating, because
that's the client aspect, right? There's also the lead management aspect that I'm going to be handling, which is going to increase their conversion rate, because I've been trained in sales, I've been trained in how to convert people, and it's not coming across as salesy. It's because I know how to connect with people. It's because I know how to talk about what they need, find out what they need, and ensure that it's the perfect fit. I will also turn people away if I don't think that they're suited for your business, because you don't want that client, and they can probably have a different experience that's more suited to them. And most people in our industry, they will send an email response with maybe a quote and their bank details, and that's it. I'm like, you don't know follow-up strategies. You don't know how to then connect with them. You don't know how to call them and connect. Most people don't want to get on a phone call.
No, because like they're like, oh my God, that's stepping out of that so
Mhm.
we come back to what you've shared around like the women that you've been speaking to around like them not wanting to learn anything else or do anything more. Well, this is honestly the fucking most incredible experience or fucking opportunity that they have, because it means that their business can grow without them having to learn those extra strategies or implement those extra systems. And you're taking off that load. You're like taking off that
Give it
workload
to
from
me.
them. You're like, fucking give it to me. This is what I'm fucking great at. I
I
am
want,
exceptional
yeah,
at this. I
because it
love.
doesn't feel like a load to me. And
Mm,
that's the thing. I'm like, I've spent over $40,000 on my business education, and God knows how much time and caffeine were like consumed to do that. But you don't need to do that, nor do you need to pay like, you know how expensive the systems and everything are to every month. I'm like, you don't even need to pay for them. You don't need to learn about them. Just give it to me. Just let me help you. Let me hold your hand.
let me sort this situation out for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing though, because it really is a solution for a huge problem for our industry. And there are so many women that aren't, like they are time poor. They're kids, they're little ones. They're spending already time on their trying to get onto their emails, trying to get to their inquiries, and they actually just don't even have the time to invest into growing their business or even to set up those systems themselves. So this would be incredible because you really would just step in and sweep them off their feet, but not only them, their clients and their
Yes.
potential clients too.
And the
And
industry.
you're
And also, like,
raising the
if
bar.
they're getting an hour back, people, let's say you spend 15 hours a week in admin, even if your rate is $100, that's 50. I'm sure your rate is higher than 50, like $100, but
Oh,
that's $1,500 that you are getting back. Is that right?
every week.
Yeah, it is. I was like, oh my gosh, my math's not mathing. Um, but
Yeah.
that's money. And I guess like the thing that I kept differentiating, like, what's the difference between myself and a VA? Because there are VAs out there that do that, right? But I'm like, I am the only one that I know that is specialized in our industry because I know it like the back of my hand. You can hire a VA, whether they're from Australia, whether they're from overseas. They don't know our industry. They don't know how our clients think. They don't know what our clients need. Like, I'll get emails like, oh, what lipstick can you recommend? Like, a VA is not going to know that. They're going to have to go to you and ask that, which causes more time. You don't do that. They're not going to know how to organize and send a timing schedule to brides like I do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so specialized that you are literally, it is a no-brainer that your experience and your business is going to elevate because of this.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's like the other element of that is that even if you were to have a VA, let's just say hypothetically, they were to bring a VA into their business, then they would have to find the time to train that VA
Mhm.
to do the things that you do. And that would not even be the system, because without you, they wouldn't have the system. So they'd be training the VA on their old school system, which is excruciatingly painful and takes way more time than it needs to be, and probably doesn't
Mhm.
convert as many clients as it should. And so I love that, because you're basically stepping in with already this level of expertise, supporting them without them having to. Okay, let's just say it would be the exact same of going to a website designer versus trying to figure out how to do the website yourself.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
That is the difference.
Exactly.
I love that.
Or then hiring a VA to say, build me a website.
You're like, I don't have the time, but I want to pay you to figure out how to do it. And then so it will cost so much
It
more.
doesn't make sense.
Not at all. But yeah, I love this. I'm so excited. We need a champagne or a mimosa to
We
actually cheers
definitely do.
to cheers the raising of the bar of the industry. I love this so
And
much.
yeah, I mean, we're both like working parallel to each other. You're supporting those people that want to learn and want to grow, like myself, like your beautiful clients. And I'm here supporting the ones that don't have the time and don't want to do it. And together, we are going to create a fucking exceptional industry. Like, the bar is getting raised, the wiggling's happening again.
You can hear when I'm wiggling because I always do like a little.
It pops out. This conversation went in so many directions, which I kind of knew what would happen with us too.
Right, sorry guys, hope you caught up.
Please stay, strap in.
Strap in,
You're
it's
just
gonna be a wild one.
disclaimer.
Maybe we should pop that in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, like, strap in. It's a wild ride, but it's going to be fun. If you want to laugh, like, we probably laughed half our way through this, but
I can't believe so many people have said that my episodes are so calming and grounding, because I'm feeling pretty fucking high vibe right now.
I'm definitely not feeling like calm, to be honest.
Not right now. Not at the time of recording. There was no calm energy. No.
It was all fucking
Absolutely
pumped
fine.
up. Yeah. But I'm
Oh
excited for
my
this
gosh.
next step because I know it's going to be able to make my work remote, which means I might be able to move to Perth.
Indy's thinking of moving. Thinking she is moving to Perth. Actually, when Indy first started working with me in 2022, I think it was it? You literally said, in 2 years, I want to move to Perth. We're going to move to Perth maybe in about 2 years. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
And now I'm literally here in Perth and I'm like, I fucking love this place. I'm so sick of Sydney. Sydney is great because like it teaches you how to hustle. And something I've learned is it teaches you how to walk really fast because I walk way faster than everyone in Perth. And I was like, why is everyone so casual? Like,
Why
get a
is she
bit more
casually
hasty with it. Would
jogging?
you?
How is she jogging in heels right now? Oh my God, the fast ad, the fast marketing ad. Were they in Sydney?
But
Oh my God, I'm so still laughing so much at
oh
that
my
story.
gosh,
Oh,
that's a
thank you
cool
so
memory.
Thank you so much for joining me today, my love. I have
Thank you for
absolutely
having me, and thank you to everyone who's listened and stayed for this because it's been chaotic, but there have been so many lessons in here.
There's so many lessons, so many truth bombs, so many valuable lessons that I hope that you take away and implement in your business. And
Yes.
if you are needing support with your admin and your inquiries and your systems and your sales, where can everybody find you?
So my Instagram is, oh gosh, I hate saying this. It's at Studio 85, but it's the spelling. It's not the numbers. I don't know. So how do you say that in the
I will link it below.
Studio 85 _? Just don't use numbers. Just spell 85, okay?
I will link it below. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for your journey, my love. I always love watching you grow and expand, of course. And I'm really excited for your next journey. Thank you so much.
I am so excited. I'm also excited to watch you grow and flourish and
just two queens just heading straight for the stratosphere.
we're on our rocket ship.
I love that. Thank you, my love.
My pleasure. I'll speak to you soon.